booklet for random dungeon generation. This required a lot of reverse engineering. I took all of the Blackmore maps and fed them into Claude AI. And I asked very specific questions so that I could figure out how long passageways are. What did they do when they come to an intersection? Yada, yada. And through a set of interrogatories, so to speak, I have come up with a set of instructions, a procedure. Not only that, but at the end of that procedure, I generated a dungeon and it came out looking very Arnesonian. So I gave it to some other people to test. I got back another map from another guy that looked very Arnesonian as well. It's not replicated here, but I think these procedures are going to give you what you need to have. Arneson did have 2 levels on the Blackmore dungeon that were extraordinarily, they had connections to very long passageways. I did not analyze that. Same thing in there. I think there were like 4 levels under Glendower, which were very truncated. Those were more points of interest and therefore would not have given me valid statistics. So those are ignored. It's just the standard 10 levels of Blackmore. And so you've got some oddities here in the dungeon, but the generation rules are very compact. There is not a lot here to produce. And this is why I think I've got it right. Because not only am I able to produce maps that look Arnesonian, but it's very simple once you get down to it. It's a percentage-based system for the most part. I did have a suggestion from Purple Druid to not flip back and forth between different types of dice. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep it this way because I could not figure out an easy way to I didn't want to rewrite all this stuff. I'm so sorry. I could not do it. And it's very compact, so just roll with this. You'll get used to it. Yeah. Okay. Treasure troves and monsters. Again, this is inspired by The Game of Dungeon by Dave McGarry. But again, McGarry was a player. The whole idea of The Game of Dungeon was to replicate, because Arneson was getting too burned out running so many groups, McGarry came up with this idea, hey, we'll just turn this into a board game. I'll make up some procedures, and that'll alleviate some stress because people play this game solo. Moving on. Medieval Braunstein, Booklet 5. There is an entire... So I first came across... I got involved in the Braunstein stuff. I wrote a Braunstein that's a sci-fi Braunstein. I'm playing in a sci-fi Braunstein right now. I know how to do this. This is not complicated. Once you've looked at Dave Wesley's 2 published Braunstein, the artifacts from 2 of his published games, which you can find Braunstein number 1, Braunstein number 4. So that's the typical Franco-Prussian kind of interaction. That's Braunstein 1. And then Braunstein 4 was Banania, which is the Banana Republic scenario that Arneson blew all of his fellow competitors out of the water when he played it the first time. So I've distilled down the rules for writing a Braunstein in general. And then I did the sci-fi Braunstein. I wrote the rules for a sci-fi Braunstein. I ran it. It was a lot of fun. Now I'm playing in a Braunstein. But John Peterson tantalizing us with a few pages from a Braunstein that Arneson ran. He doesn't tell us when it's from. But eventually, I dug around the internet and I found every page of that Braunstein. Now, the problem is that Arneson didn't leave us a lot of clues. He gave us sheets for instructions for the players. He gave us a scoring rubric, and he gave us like a point tally, but he didn't give us any of the mechanics. And there are mechanics necessary to run this thing. So I've had to back into the mechanics, again, trying to keep it very lightweight, and relying on some of the stuff I figured out doing Strategos. So I'm looking to Totten for some of these rules. And I think I've got something that's going to work. We need to play test this, but it's pretty dang close. Siege warfare, yes, there are some sieges. There are some points of interest. There are estates. There's a county where the count is in a lot of trouble, and oh boy, there are multiple factions that come in to try and take things over. These are all the factions. What are there? There's like 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus an optional 11th. let's just say it's a complicated scenario. And here's the order of battle, and the scoring rubric is over here. Yeah, so figuring out how this works just based on these sheets of instructions giving the goals, the troops, it was not easy, but fortunately I'm deep enough in this. I think I've got, again, I think I'm onto it. I think I got it. So we're going to play test this. We'll see if I actually did get it. You will have to do mass combat. I came up with a very simple procedure in case somebody, oh, I'm going to have to move table 69. I do have an error here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pages. 5 pages of rules. So if you can't figure out how to do mass combat from 5 pages, I don't know how to help you. This isn't the game for you. OD&D and chainmail is probably not for you if you can't figure out 5 pages. This is a very simple mass combat system. I'm also giving you a simple man-to-man system. This is Dave Featherstone. And simple jousting, again, Featherstone and Barker came up. Actually, this is Barker. This is Barker and Featherstone for the simple man-to-man. This was published in WRG as a set of medieval rules, and then Bath and Featherstone did this jousting thing. I wanted to put in the jousting, so you don't, if you buy this from me, you get mass combat, you get man-to-man, you get simple jousting, you get Totten, you have all the tools that you need to run a complete game. You get solo play. There's no need to get chainmail, but I highly recommend it. Same thing, there's no need to get outdoor survival. You can generate stuff using what I'm about to show you. But again, get outdoor survival. I mean, I've got a copy over here. It's in pretty good shape. This was not expensive on eBay. This was only like, you know, $30, and it's in great shape. It's, I mean, what can I tell you? Spend 30 or 40 bucks and get something and preserve it for the next generation of hobbyists. But definitely have it in your bullpen, you know. I've gone on enough. That takes us through the end of booklet 8. Hope you had fun with this video series so far.